The diner was quiet in a way that felt wrong. Only one light buzzed above the counter, flickering now and then like it was tired of staying on. Outside, the highway was empty. No cars, no voices, just darkness stretching in every direction. Lena sat alone in a booth near the window. A half-empty cup of coffee rested in front of her. It had gone cold, but she didn't notice. Her head felt heavy, her body felt slow. She rubbed her eyes and checked the time on her phone. 11:47 p.m. She had been driving home from work when the tiredness hit her all at once. Her eyes burned, her hand shook on the steering wheel. When she saw the small diner sign glowing in the dark, she decided to stop. Just coffee, just 5 minutes. That was the plan. The waitress stood behind the counter, wiping the same clean spot again and again. She was young, maybe early 20s, with tired eyes and tense shoulders. She kept looking toward the back door like she expected someone to walk in. Lena noticed that earlier. Now, Lena slid out of the booth feeling dizzy as her feet touched the floor. The room tilted slightly. She grabbed the edge of the table until it passed. "Long day," she muttered to herself. She walked toward the exit. The bell above the door did not ring. That was strange. She reached for the handle and pulled. Nothing. She pulled again, harder. The door did not move. Then, click. A loud, sharp sound echoed through the diner. The door had locked. Lena turned around, confused. "Hey, is this door stuck?" The waitress rushed toward her, panic written all over her face. Don't try to open it," the waitress said quickly. Her voice was shaking. "Frown, what do you mean? I need to go." The waitress grabbed Lena's arm. Her grip was tight, almost painful. "Please," she whispered, "stay awake." "What?" Lena blinked. "Please," the waitress said again, her eyes wide. "Whatever you do, don't pass out." A cold feeling crawled up Lena's spine. "What's going on?" Lena asked. "Why did you lock the door?" The waitress looked at the windows, then at the ceiling, then back at Lena. She lowered her voice even more. "You're feeling dizzy, right?" she asked. Lena opened her mouth to answer, but suddenly the room spun. She stumbled back into a chair. "Yes," Lena said slowly. "My head feels strange." The waitress knelt in front of her. "Listen to me. You need to stay awake. Talk to me. Look at me." Lena tried to focus, but her vision blurred at the edges. The waitress's face seemed too close, too serious. "This isn't funny," Lena said weakly. "If this is a joke—" "It's not," the waitress cut in. "I swear it's not." Lena's heart began to race. "Why can't I leave?" The waitress hesitated. Her lips trembled. "Because if you walk outside right now, you might collapse." Lena swallowed. "Why?" Before the waitress could answer, Lena felt a wave of nausea hit her. Her stomach twisted. Her hands started to shake. She looked down and noticed something strange. Her fingers felt numb. "I don't feel right," Lena whispered. I know. That's why I locked the door." Lena's fear turned into anger. "You locked me in," she said. "That's illegal." "I'm trying to save you," the waitress replied, tears forming in her eyes. "Save me from what?" Lena tried to stand up again, but her legs gave out. She fell back into the chair, breathing fast. The air felt thick, heavy, like it was pressing down on her chest. "Did you put something in my coffee?" Lena asked, her voice shaking. The waitress's eyes widened. No, I didn't, I swear." "Then what's happening to me?" Lena asked. The waitress looked away. That silence was worse than any answer. Lena's ears started ringing. A soft hum filled her head. The lights above flickered again. "Hey," Lena said, her voice fading. "Hey, talk to me." The waitress grabbed Lena's hands and squeezed them. "Stay with me," she said. "Just keep talking. Tell me your name." "Lena," she whispered. "My name is Lena." "Okay, Lena. the waitress said quickly. "My name is Rachel. You're not alone. I won't let you fall asleep." "Why?" Lena asked. "Why me?" Rachel swallowed hard. "Because you're the second person tonight." Lena's eyes snapped open a little wider. "Second?" Rachel nodded. "Another person came in earlier. Same symptoms: dizziness, weakness, confusion." "What happened to them?" Lena asked. Rachel didn't answer. Lena felt fear crash over her like a wave. She looked at the locked door again, then at the windows, then at the ceiling vents she hadn't noticed before. A strange smell hung in the air, faint but sharp. "How long have I been sitting here?" Lena asked. Rachel checked the clock. Too long. Lena's head dropped forward for a moment. "No," Rachel said sharply, shaking her. "Stay awake. Look at me." Sirens sounded far away, very faint. Lena wasn't sure if they were real or if her mind was playing tricks on her. "Rachel," she whispered, barely able to speak now, "I think I'm going to pass out." Rachel's voice broke. "Please, don't. Help is coming." Lena's vision went dark around the edges. The last thing she saw was the locked door. The last thing she heard was Rachel whispering, "Please, just stay awake." And then everything went black. Lena awoke gasping for air. Her chest rose fast like she had been running. Her eyes flew open, but the world around her did not make sense right away. Everything looked blurred. White light burned her eyes. She tried to move. Her arms felt heavy. Her legs felt numb. A soft beeping sound filled the room. Beep, beep, beep. She turned her head slowly. A hospital room. The smell of clean air and medicine hit her nose. A thin blanket covered her body. A needle was taped to her arm. "I'm alive?" she whispered. A woman stepped closer. She wore blue scrubs and looked relieved. "She's awake," she said, turning toward the door. Lena swallowed. Her throat felt dry like sand. "What happened?" asked Lena. The nurse leaned closer. "You collapsed at a diner. The waitress called for help just in time." The word diner brought everything rushing back. The locked door, Rachel's shaking hands, the dizziness, the darkness. "The waitress," Lena said quickly. "Where is she?" The nurse hesitated, just for a second. She gave her statement. She left. Something about that answer felt wrong. Lena closed her eyes for a moment. Her head throbbed. "What did you find in my system?" asked Lena. The nurse exchanged a look with the doctor, who had entered quietly. The doctor stepped forward. "You were exposed to a sedative," he said carefully. Lena stared at the ceiling. "Someone drugged me?" "Yes," the doctor said. "And if the waitress hadn't locked the door, you might not have survived." That sentence stayed with her. Locked the door to save her. A police officer entered the room. He was tall, calm, with tired eyes. "I'm Officer Miller. I need to ask you a few questions." Lena nodded slowly. He asked about her drive, about why she stopped, about the coffee, about Rachel. "She seemed scared, like she already knew what was happening," Lena said, and tried to sound calm. Officer Miller wrote something down. "Did she say anything strange?" he asked. Lena thought hard. Her memory felt foggy. "She said I was the second," Lena said quietly. "The second?" the officer asked. "Yes," Lena replied. "She said someone else came in earlier, same symptoms." The room felt colder suddenly. Officer Miller looked at the doctor, then back at Lena. "That information wasn't in her statement," he said. Lena's stomach twisted. "What do you mean?" he asked. "She never mentioned another customer," he said. Lena's heart sank. "Then she lied," she whispered. "Or someone told her to." The officer thanked Lena and left. When the room grew quiet again, Lena noticed something else. Her phone was missing. "Where's my phone?" she asked. The nurse frowned. "It wasn't with you when you arrived." Panic flared in Lena's chest. "I had it," she said. "I checked the time." The nurse shook her head gently. It didn't come in with you. Lena turned her head slowly toward the window. Outside, the sky was dark, still night. How long was I out? A soft knock came at the door. Rachel stepped inside. Lena's breath caught. The waitress looked different now. Her apron was gone. She wore a jacket, her hair pulled back tight. Her eyes were red, like she had been crying. "You're awake," Rachel said softly. "You left," Lena pointed out. Rachel nodded. "They told me to." "Who?" Lena asked. Rachel didn't answer. Instead, she stepped closer and lowered her voice. "I didn't lie to you," Rachel whispered. "I did have another customer." Lena's heart pounded. "Where are they?" she asked. Rachel looked away. "They didn't make it," she said. Silence filled the room. Lena felt sick.
"Why didn't you tell the police?" Lena asked. Rachel's hand shook. "Because if I did, I'd be next." Lena stared at her. Next for what? Rachel leaned in even closer. "Someone's using the diner," she said. "Testing people, watching how long it takes." Lena felt ice run through her veins. "Watching for what?" she asked. Rachel swallowed. "For how long it takes before someone passes out." Lena remembered the words again. "Stay awake." "Why me?" Lena asked. Rachel met her eyes. "Because you came alone." Before Lena could ask more, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Rachel straightened up fast. "They're watching," she whispered. "Don't trust anyone." Then she walked out. Too fast, too clean. Lena stared at the door long after it closed. Her heart wouldn't slow down. Minutes later, a nurse came in. "Your heart rate is up," she said kindly. "Try to rest." Lena nodded, pretending to calm down. But her mind was racing. Someone drugged her. Someone watched. Someone counted minutes. Her phone was gone, and Rachel knew more than she said. Later that night, Lena couldn't sleep. The beeping machine beside her bed felt too loud. She turned her head and noticed something on the bedside table. A folded napkin. Her breath caught. She picked it up slowly and opened it. 3 words were written in shaky ink. "You stayed awake." Lena dropped the napkin. Her heart pounded in her ears. Who put that there? The door was still closed. The nurse hadn't come back. Lena looked at the clock on the wall. 2:30 a.m. Exactly 30 minutes since Rachel left. And somewhere, someone was still counting. Lena did not sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the locked diner door. She heard Rachel's voice again. "Stay awake." The hospital room felt too quiet. The beeping machine beside her bed sounded louder than before, like it was counting something she could not see. She reached for the napkin again. "You stayed awake." Her hand shook. Someone had been inside her room. Someone knew exactly what happened. Lena slowly swung her legs off the bed. Her body felt weak, but fear pushed her forward. She needed answers. Now. She stood up and walked quietly to the door. She opened it just enough to look into the hallway. Empty. White walls, soft lights, no nurses, no guards. She stepped out. Her bare feet touched the cold floor. Each step felt risky, like she was doing something she was not supposed to do. She needed her phone. If someone took it, there had to be a reason. She remembered Officer Miller saying it never arrived with her. That meant it disappeared before the ambulance came. At the diner, her heart beat faster. Someone took it there. Lena walked slowly toward the nurse's desk. Papers were stacked neatly. A computer screen glowed. She leaned closer. A folder on the desk caught her eye. Case Roadside Diner. Her breath stopped. She looked around quickly. Still no one. Lena opened the folder. Inside were photos. The diner, the parking lot, the locked door, and then something that made her stomach drop. Her phone. It was on the table in one photo, right next to her coffee cup. Someone had taken a picture before she collapsed. Her fingers trembled as she flipped the page. Another photo showed the phone missing. The next page had a name written in bold. Rachel M. Employee. Lena closed the folder fast. Her mind raced. Rachel knew. Rachel warned her. Rachel locked the door. But Rachel also lied. Footsteps echoed suddenly. Lena froze. She shoved the folder back where it was and turned just as a nurse came around the corner. "Miss," the nurse said softly, "you shouldn't be out of bed." "I needed water," Lena lied. The nurse nodded, guided her back to the room. But her thoughts were louder than her fear now. Rachel was not just a waitress, she was part of it, or trapped inside it. Later that morning, Officer Miller returned. "You're up early," he said. "I didn't sleep," Lena replied. He sat down. "I don't blame you." Lena looked him straight in the eyes. "My phone was at the diner." He paused. "Yes." "You didn't tell me that," she said. "We didn't want to worry you," he replied calmly. Lena leaned forward. "Someone took pictures of me before I passed out." Officer Miller sighed. "Yes, we know," he said. "That's why we shut the diner down." "Then why am I still not safe?" Lena asked. He studied her face. "What makes you think you're not?" he asked. Lena reached into her pocket and placed the napkin on the bed. Officer Miller read it. His jaw tightened. "This wasn't here before," she said. "Someone came into my room." Officer Miller stood up immediately. "I'll have security check the cameras," he said. But Lena shook her head. "They won't find anything," she said. "Whoever this is knows how to stay invisible." Officer Miller was quiet for a moment. "Rachel hasn't answered our calls," he said finally. Lena's chest tightened. "She warned me," Lena said. "She said someone was testing people." Officer Miller nodded slowly. "That matches what we found. 2 other cases, different towns, same pattern." Lena felt cold. "How many didn't wake up?" Lena asked. Officer Miller didn't answer. That was answer enough. Later that day, Lena was released. They said it was safer at home, but Lena did not feel safe anywhere. Her apartment felt smaller than before. Every sound made her jump. She locked the door twice, then checked it again. She sat on the couch and stared at her dark phone screen. No phone, no connection, just silence. A knock came at the door. Lena's heart nearly stopped. "Police," a voice said. She opened it slowly. Officer Miller stood there. "We found something," he said. He handed her a small plastic bag. Inside was her phone. It was hidden behind the diner freezer, he said, wrapped in plastic. Her breath caught. They connected the phone to a laptop. A video file appeared. Officer Miller pressed play. The screen showed Lena sitting at the diner table. Rachel stood behind the counter. Then another figure appeared. A man. His face was hidden under a cap. He adjusted something on the coffee machine. Rachel looked at him. He nodded. Then he stepped back into the shadows. The video continued until Lena stood up, until the door locked, until the screen went dark. Lena covered her mouth. "He planned it," she whispered. Officer Miller nodded, and Rachel followed instructions. "Or she was forced," Lena said. The officer didn't argue. Later that night, Lena couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the man in the cap, the way he nodded. Like this was routine. Her phone buzzed suddenly. Lena froze. A new message appeared. Unknown number. "Round 1 is over." Her fingers trembled. She typed back, "What do you want?" 3 dots appeared. Then the reply, "To see how long you last." The phone went silent. Lena stared at the screen. She realized something terrifying. This was not an accident. This was not personal. She was part of a test, and tests were never done with just 1 round. Lena did not answer the message. She stared at the screen until it went dark again. Her heart beat slow but heavy now. Fear was still there, but something else had joined it. Anger. She was done being a test. Officer Miller increased patrols around her building, but Lena knew it would not be enough. Whoever was behind this did not rush. They waited. They watched. That night, Lena dreamed of the diner again. The locked door, the bitter coffee, the man in the cap. But this time, when she turned around, Rachel was gone. Lena woke up sweating. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. She's running.
Lena sat up fast. She typed back without thinking. Who? The reply came slower this time. The waitress. Lena's chest tightened. Rachel! She quickly called Officer Miller. They know about Rachel, Lena said. They said she's running. There was a pause on the line. She disappeared this morning, Miller said. Left her apartment, no phone, no wallet. Lena swallowed. They're hunting her. And using you to send the message, Miller replied. Lena looked around her apartment. Suddenly, the walls felt too close. I think Rachel tried to help me, Lena said quietly, but she was scared. That doesn't make her innocent, Miller said. No, but it makes her human. Later that day, Lena received a location ping, not from the police, from her phone. A message appeared with no words, only a map location. It was a rest stop outside the city. Lena knew it was a trap, but she also knew something else. Rachel might be there. She grabbed her jacket and keys. Officer Miller warned her not to go. I'm not asking permission, Lena said. I'm asking for backup. An hour later, Lena sat in her car, parked across the street from the rest stop. Police vehicles waited farther away, hidden. The place looked normal. Too normal. People walked in and out, trucks passed by, lights flickered above the gas pumps. Then Lena saw her. Rachel sat on a bench near the vending machines. Her hair was messy. Her hands shook as she held a coffee she wasn't drinking. She looked exhausted. Lena stepped out of the car. Rachel looked up and froze. You shouldn't be here, Rachel said quickly. I got a message, Lena replied. Did you send it? Rachel shook her head. No. Her eyes darted around. They're close, Rachel whispered. They don't like loose ends. Lena sat beside her. Then tell me everything. Rachel laughed softly, without humor. I was supposed to quit months ago, but they offered money. Easy money. For what? Asked Lena. Observation. Just watch, lock the door, call for help at the right time. Lena's stomach turned. And if someone didn't wake up? She asked quietly. Rachel looked down. Then the test was complete. Lena clenched her fists. Why warn me? She asked. Rachel's voice cracked. Because you looked like my sister. Before Lena could respond, a black SUV pulled into the lot. Rachel stood up fast. That's them, she said. Lena's heart raced. The SUV doors opened. 2 men stepped out. One wore a cap. Lena recognized him instantly. Get behind me, Lena whispered. Rachel shook her head. They want me. The men walked closer, calm and confident. You made things complicated, one said to Rachel. You made things public, the other said to Lena. Lena felt her phone vibrate. Unknown number. Round 2. Stay awake. Sirens exploded in the distance. The men froze. Police cars rushed in from all sides. The man in the cap ran. Rachel screamed. One of the men grabbed her arm. Lena reacted without thinking. She shoved him hard. He stumbled. Police tackled him seconds later. The other man was already on the ground, cuffed. The man in the cap escaped. Rachel collapsed to the ground, crying. It's not over, she sobbed. He always gets away. Officer Miller arrived moments later. Who is he? Lena asked. Miller's face was grim. We don't know his name, but we know his pattern. That night, Rachel was taken into protective custody. Lena returned home with police nearby. She felt relief for the first time in days, but it did not last. At midnight, her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. You interfered. Lena typed back. You lost. The reply came instantly. This was never about winning. Her heart pounded. What is it about? 3 dots appeared, then the final message. Control. The phone went silent. Lena stared at the dark screen. She realized something chilling. The diner was only one location. Rachel was only one worker. There were others, and the man in the cap was still free. Lena walked to the window and looked out into the city lights. Somewhere out there, someone was already planning the next test. And now, Lena was no longer just a survivor. She was a threat. Lena did not sleep that night. The word control stayed in her mind like a stain that would not wash away. She sat on the edge of her bed, fully dressed, lights on, phone in her hand. She knew what was coming. People like him did not stop. At 12:01 a.m., her phone vibrated. Unknown number. You learned the rules. Now let's see if you can break them. Lena's breathing slowed. Fear tried to rise, but she forced it down. She typed back, "What do you want?" The reply took longer this time. "Proof." "Proof of what?" she typed. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. "That you can choose." A location appeared on her screen. An abandoned medical clinic on the edge of the city. Lena's stomach tightened. She immediately called Officer Miller. "He contacted me again," she said. "He wants me to go somewhere." Miller swore under his breath. "Don't move. We'll trace." "He won't wait," Lena interrupted. "He never does." Miller was silent for a moment. "We'll follow at a distance," he said finally. "But if this is a trap—" "It already is," Lena said. "That's the point." 30 minutes later, Lena stood outside the clinic. The building was old, dark windows. A single light above the front door flickered weakly. Police cars were hidden down the street. Lena stepped inside, alone. The door closed behind her with a heavy sound. Click. Her heart skipped. The hallway smelled like dust and old medicine. Her footsteps echoed as she moved forward. A voice spoke from the darkness. "Good," the man said. "You came." The man in the cap stepped into the light. He looked calm, clean, almost polite. "You like 30 minutes. Why?" Lena asked. He smiled slightly. "Because it's long enough to hope, short enough to panic." Lena clenched her fists. What is this place? A classroom for learning limits. A table sat between them. On it were 2 cups of water. Her stomach dropped. "You're sick," Lena said. "No," he replied calmly. "I'm precise." He pointed to the cups. "One is safe, one isn't." Lena shook her head. "I'm not playing." "You already are," he said. "Choose." Lena looked around. "Where are the others?" He tilted his head. "You're the last." Her chest tightened. "Last what?" He said. "Survivor." Lena felt cold. "Rachel?" she asked. He smiled. "Protected. For now." Lena's anger boiled. "You think you control people with fear, but you don't." He raised an eyebrow. "Then why are you here?" Lena stepped closer to the table. "Because I won't let you choose anymore." He laughed softly. "You have 30 minutes," he said again. "Drink." Lena picked up 1 cup. Her hand shook, but not from fear. She met his eyes. "You said you watch, you test." "Yes," he replied. "Then watch this," Lena said. She poured the water onto the floor. His smile vanished. "You ruined the test," he said sharply. "No," Lena replied. "I ended it." Sirens exploded outside. The man turned toward the sound. Too late. Police stormed the building. He ran. Lena ran too, but not away. She followed him down the hallway. He slammed through a door. She followed. They burst into a small room. No exit. The man turned, breathing hard. "You don't understand," he said. "People only reveal truth when they're close to losing everything." Lena stepped back slowly. "No," she said. "They reveal who they are when they're given a choice." Police shouted outside. The man looked around desperately. Then he did something unexpected. He dropped to the floor, hands up. Sirens filled the room. Officer Miller rushed in moments later and cuffed him. It was over. Later, Lena sat outside the clinic wrapped in a blanket. The cold air felt real, grounding. Miller stood beside her. "He designed the tests," Miller said, "studied reactions, fear, time." "Why diners?" Lena asked. "Because people feel safe there. Routine lowers defense." Lena closed her eyes. "And Rachel?" she asked. "She'll testify. She'll be safe." Lena nodded. For the first time, her shoulders relaxed. Weeks later, Lena sat in her apartment, sunlight filling the room. The phone buzzed. A message from Officer Miller. He pleaded guilty, no trial. Lena stared at the screen. No countdown, no threat, no ticking clock. She walked to the kitchen and poured a glass of water. Clear, simple, safe. She drank it slowly. The clock on the wall read 12:30 p.m. 30 minutes. This time, they meant nothing. But Lena knew one thing. She would never forget how much power a choice could hold. Because once, 30 minutes almost ended her life, and choosing not to play saved it. Weeks passed since the final confrontation at the abandoned clinic. Lena tried to return to normal life, but the shadows of those 30 minutes lingered. Every knock at the door, every stranger's glance felt like a reminder that danger could still exist. Rachel was safe, now officially in protective custody, giving full statements about the tests, the locked diners, and the man in the cap. Police continued investigations into the larger network that had orchestrated these sinister tests, but Lena knew that surviving once didn't guarantee survival forever. She still felt watched. One evening, Lena returned home from grocery shopping. The city streets were busy, lights buzzing, people laughing as if life was simple and safe. She wished she could believe that. She locked her apartment door, checked the windows, and finally allowed herself to breathe. She poured herself a cup of tea, her hands still trembling slightly. The calm of the apartment, the steam rising from the cup should have been comforting, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Her phone buzzed. A new message. Unknown number. You survived the first test. Her chest tightened. It's over, she whispered to herself. It has to be. Another message appeared almost immediately. Second test. The observer never leaves. Her stomach dropped. She reread the message. The wording, familiar, the same chilling precision as before. She looked around the apartment. Nothing seemed out of place. The shadows on the walls remained normal. The ticking of her old clock was the only sound. She typed back carefully. Who is this? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Then appeared again. Someone you trust. Her fingers froze. She thought of Miller, Rachel, even herself. Could anyone be part of this? She called Miller immediately. Something's happening again, she said breathlessly. He listened quietly, then frowned. Send me the messages. Don't respond further. Stay put. I'm coming. Lena obeyed. She stayed by the window, watching the street below, clutching her cup of tea like a lifeline. Time crawled. 30 minutes passed. 40. Nothing happened. Relief began to creep in. Maybe it was just a prank, a leftover scare from before. But then, the power went out. Her apartment plunged into darkness. Her phone buzzed again. Look behind you. Lena's blood ran cold. She slowly turned, her back pressed against the wall. The kitchen doorway was empty, shadows stretching longer than usual. A soft click came from the living room, the sound of a lock. Her heart raced. She reached for the baseball bat hidden under the couch. Her fingers shook. A shadow moved. She swung the bat. Nothing. Then a voice, quiet, familiar. Lena. She froze. It was Rachel. Rachel stepped into the dim light, hands raised. It's me! It's really me! Tears welled in Lena's eyes. Relief mixed with lingering fear. You've scared me to half-death. I know, Rachel said, but I had to see for myself. They were sending messages from my old phone. They hacked it before it went into protective custody. They wanted you to panic again. Lena sank to the couch. Again? Rachel nodded. It was never over. Whoever runs this, they test until they're sure you break. Lena's mind raced. So the second round? It wasn't him? Rachel shook her head. No, but the network isn't finished. He's in custody, yes, but they have others watching, learning, waiting. Suddenly, Lena's phone buzzed one last time. She stared at it, heart pounding. Look outside. They. The word didn't need more explanation. Her mind flashed back to every diner, every locked door, every 30-minute countdown. "Lena, we can't stay," Lena said, standing abruptly. Rachel nodded. "We leave now." They grabbed essential items and slipped out the fire exit. The streets were empty, city lights shimmered, shadows moved at the edges of the sidewalks, but none followed. They reached Lena's car, parked 2 blocks away. As Lena started the engine, a small envelope slid under the windshield wiper. Her hand shook as she picked it up. Inside was a single piece of paper. "Congratulations, you've survived, but some lessons never end." Lena's stomach turned. Rachel looked at her. "They're still out there, watching." Lena gritted her teeth. "Then we keep moving. We never give them what they want. Fear." The engine roared. They drove into the night, leaving the apartment behind, leaving comfort and safety behind. But Lena knew the truth now. Some dangers weren't meant to be destroyed, they were meant to be survived. She looked at the clock on the dashboard. 12:30 a.m. 30 minutes. Twice. Almost 3 times. And she realized one terrifying fact. The tests might never truly end. But so long as she stayed awake, so long as she stayed alert, she could still choose. And that choice, life or fear, was hers alone. A final message appeared on her phone. Unknown number. "See you soon." Lena swallowed hard. She gripped the wheel. The city stretched before her, quiet, dark, full of shadows she could not yet see. And deep down, she knew that some doors, once opened, never fully closed. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more emotional and meaningful life stories like this, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hazel Stories. Your support helps me create more stories that touch the heart. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next story.